just a few years ago that I wish I had learned way earlier in my sales career was to make a sale and get paid over and over instead of just making a sale one time and getting paid one time, which is commissions, which are great, but residual income is where it's at. So this is something that if you get good at, if you can master the art of presenting, guys, please, if you guys can master the art of presenting and you guys can deliver a message in a way that not only you understand it, but in a way that the prospect, the person in front of you, can understand it, it's going to help you be able to close without trying to sell people, just because you're talking to them in their own language. And that requires some skill. Just like anything else, we're learning how to trade. That requires skill before you actually start making a lot of money from it, right? Anything you earn, you then remove the, or anything you learn, you remove the L afterwards, and then you can earn money in it. Sales network marketing is the same thing, but when you learn this skill set and you master it, you're going to be making a lot of money simply by helping people solve problems. And so presenting the information for iMarkets Live is extremely, extremely important. Knowing how to redirect somebody's attention without confusing them, knowing how to keep it simple, knowing how to speak using the correct voice inflections, the correct tonality, the correct hand gestures, because everything that you're doing is always going to continuously be selling your prospects. You have to be able to gauge their attention over and over. And, whenever you're talking about investments, it can get kind of tricky. There's a lot of terminologies. There's a lot of stuff that they don't understand. So one of the things that I've been doing very recently with the new updates in iMarkets Live is the new just regular webpage, iml.com. You go there, it looks really, really nice. I could just go through there, go through the products, go through who is behind everything, go through the stories. And you have to remember to use stories as well when presenting. But we're going to go through those techniques here in a little bit with my mentor, Heriberto, who, again, has taken the time out of his busy, busy day on a Saturday out in beautiful Utah to come and train you guys a little bit more on this subject of presenting. So Heriberto, somebody who has, I don't even know how many years of sales experience, I would say over 20 now, or no, I would say about, because he's known me since I was a baby, that's the thing. This guy's been my mentor my whole life. And he's just an incredible individual who masters the art of selling himself. And that's all sales really boils down to at the end of the day. So I'm going to go ahead and pass it over to my mentor, everybody's mentor, Heriberto. Thank you, sir, for getting on the call. Take it away, my man.
What is going on?
What's up?
That guy in a phone call?
Yeah.
Okay. I thought he was talking to us. I was confused.
Can you see my screen now?
Yes, sir.
You can?
Wait, I see you.
Okay, but you can't see my screen there yet? Okay, let me go here.
Wait, it says Heriberto's iPad, but I don't know.
There, and you should be able to see my screen now.
Yeah, there you go.
Goody. Okay.
Which
so let me go here. There. Okay. So I am gonna, let me go open here and here. Okay. So hi guys, it's a pleasure to be with you guys today, and we're gonna be talking about presentation. Now, so if you guys remember from the sales cycle, the first step in sales is prospecting. Second step is qualifying, and then after that is presentation. Last week we talked about the initial presentation or the initial pitch, the quick pitch, the 30-second minute pitch to get people to watch or join or come to a meeting or get to a webinar, something real quick. The steps are pretty much the same when it comes to presenting, but in a much more deliberate and more deliberate, thought out way. So this last week, I've been doing research and watching a bunch of different presentations, IML presentations, and the David Imanitie and a few others, and in Spanish and in English, and took out of those presentations what I thought was the really good ones, and what would stand out. So let's go over the steps when it comes to presenting. So these are I've watched a few presentations when it comes to IML, and you probably have seen some of these, and you know who these people are. David, it's by far the best, the best one, because it's just how well thought out it was, or it is. Now, when I tell my guys and they're starting to sell anything, you're going to sound like somebody else for a while. It's just meant to be that way because you still don't know what your flavor is going to be. Eventually, it's going to have your flavor. But at the beginning, you're going to sound like somebody else. You're going to have their gestures. You're going to have their and really, there's nothing bad with that because this business really is about mimicking, is knowing how to mimic and doing what other people are doing. You don't have to reinvent the wheel because it's been done. So first step in presenting is you have to tell the story. So the order of a presentation, guys, so you know what the order is. First, you have to say who you are. So who I am, or who IML is. At the beginning is going to be who I am. So you need to tell your story. Your story, who you are, where you came from, what your sales experience is, what your IML experience is, what your trading experience is, what you have been doing, how you came across IML, how you came across this opportunity. This one, by the way, this presentation was specifically done for Kristen because we've been working on putting together a really good presentation. And this was that. So you'll see some things here that are directly for Chris, but that we've been talking about. But really is how this whole came about. You have to have a story because stories sell. Facts tell. You need to tell a story. People need to know how this whole thing came about for you. Okay. Now, if you look and you watch David's presentation, he starts by stating what how and why he thought this was a great opportunity. Or when he talked about IML, he talks about the MLM side of it and how he was introduced to MLM in a long time ago. And then he talks about these 4 things, and I think these are key things when it comes to a business opportunity, an MLM opportunity like this one. Timing is key, leadership, good comp plan, and product and service that works for everybody. And in your presentation, you're going to talk about those things. At one point or another, you're going to have to address these things either in depth or just glance over, but you need to go over this. If you go in the website, it actually has these things in pretty much that order, which is pretty cool. Now, then the next, if you watch all the other presentations for IML, they go over the quadrant or the cash flow quadrant. You need to know what it is. You need to know how to talk about it. You need to know why it's important. All 3 of the good presentations talk about this one, and they mention it and how important it is for money to work for you instead of you working for money. That is the key thing when it comes to understanding why we're jumping into an opportunity like this one, because we're smart with our money. We want our money to make money for us. Okay. Now, I'm going to glance over a few things because I just put more things together there for Chris. Now, explaining what is Forex is important. Now, you need to know, you need to explain it. You need to know what Forex is, how banks make money. Now, you guys have to think when you watch Chris do his presentation, he goes over a few of these things. So they'll look really familiar to you. So how do banks make money? And explaining charts in Forex. A lot of the things I've seen, some presentations I've seen that I thought were not as good, is that they're jumping to the problem before or the solution before the problem. Okay. Now, the next step after you presenting who you are, you need to explain what the problem is. You need to state a problem. But people don't buy stuff that doesn't solve a problem. So you need to solve the problem. You need to state the problem before you state the solution. And the solution is going to be IML and the market and knowing how to trade. But you need to explain what the problem is. So it needs to be explained in a concise, easy way that people get it and understand it. Okay. Now, how does the industry work? These are in Spanish, by the way. So how does the industry work? What is trading? How do banks make money in Forex? How big of an industry it is, $5.3 trillion on a daily. Those are the key things that you have to say, because that explains to the customer or to who's watching the presentation, banks are making money this way with my money, then I need a solution so I can make money with my money. Okay? Now, IML. You need to explain what IML is. What is the story behind IML? What is the leadership? What is it? What is the product which is going to be the solution? At this point, you're jumping into the solution. We stated the problem. The problem is, there's all this money out there. We have all this money. We're making money, and our money's not making money for us. Okay? Again, going back to the quadrant, we need to learn how to have our money make money for us instead of us working for money. The problem is that there's all this money out there, and banks are making money with our money. We need to learn how to do it too. And then IML is the solution. What is IML? The story. Who are the leaders? What is the platform? What is the educational platform? You need to mention Chris Terry. What is his experience? Where did he come from? What he started this thing. You need to explain it correctly. Who it is, who he is. Then the rest of the leadership in IML. Who they are, what they do. A little bit about them. Understand that, going back to the first thing I said at the beginning as well, is in a platform for an MLM, you need to have a good timing and good leadership. You need to talk about leadership. That's the reason why you want to talk about Chris Terry, his experience. He started this whole thing. Very important that you know how to talk about that. Now, going into the solution, explaining what products are going to be offered. Now, the reason why you want to talk product is because at this point you're building value. People are going to see, and this one you're going to spend time on. This is your meat. You're going to spend time explaining what is everything that is going to be offered. Okay, understand that some people are going to be coming at this, or that have traded before, that maybe have traded or not, have looked at trading before, or training in trading, and they know how expensive it is. You need to build value, so when you drop how much the investment is going to be, the value overcomes the price, because value has to be more than price for people to buy. Okay, and therefore you need to spend time here in the solution. What are the products? What do we offer? What the educational platform that's being given to the customer. Need to explain that, the products, and how do they make money. That's the WIFM. Okay, we talked about WIFM last week. What's in it for me? The customers want to know what is in it for them in order for them to buy. They want to know. So if they're going to buy, they're going to be spending money on a monthly or investing money on a monthly. You better be able to explain to them what's in it for them. So what are the products that are going to be offered? In David's presentation, he goes over how many people fail in MLMs, and that's part of the problem. 97% of people fail in MLMs. That's part of the problem. And another thing that you want to talk, and he talks about it too, part of the solution is that some people might be turned off by the whole MLM thing. And that's perfectly okay, because it doesn't matter to you. It shouldn't matter to you, because you don't have to build in order to make money. That's one thing that David says in his presentation. One of the things that should be said too is that, hey, I know that this is, a lot of these MLMs, when they get pitched, they can sound really kind of gimmicky. But when you tell them, hey, the cool thing about the product is that you don't have to build to make money, that's important. Okay, and then explain how it can be free by bringing two people on board, and then talk about how their products help them make money which is part of the solution. The products that are being offered, while they are learning, they can make money while they're learning, and they don't have to build or bring people on board in order for them to make money. So it's a solution that's already there, that a lot of people, it's going to attract people that to the business that might not want to do the whole MLM thing and hit up all their contacts or their friends. Now, you're going to talk about the harmonic scanner, the swing trades, swipe trades, the web analyzer. You're going to talk about these things. What are they? What are those products? That's the building of value. You need to talk about them, know what they are, know how to explain them, know how to talk to that point, and because that's part of what's being offered to them, as the live signals that they get. All of that need to explain it before you drop what is the investment. Before you talk money, you need to talk value. Every time. Build value, and then we're going to drop the money. Now, the scanner, now the harmonic scanner, swing trades, all of that, all these things I just have them on this presentation, but I have them there because these are, again, you want to have something professional put together that you can then explain to the customer. IMLTV on a daily, explain. A lot of the people, some of the people I talk to, I mentioned the IMLTV and live trading, kind of the same thing as Stitch. They get that, they understand it. They make sense to them. There's value there. You need to explain what it is, how you're going to be learning from the best and the best in the market, and how you can just copy and paste and go from there. Makes it easy, simple to understand. Again, building value. Now, a lot when it comes to this is where people get kind of, if you watch David in NETA's presentation, he doesn't go over in depth to the comp plan, but he talks about it. There's other presentations that they talk about. You want to present it in a way that is simple and to the point. That way, it's not like we're going to build this, we're going to build this, we're going to build this, and you're going to make this money on this level, this other level. Because eventually they're going to talk about that. You're going to destroy some of the value that you built already. But you want to talk about the initial investment, what it is, how it can be free when you bring two people on board, and how you can make money as you make money by just sharing with people that you like. I liked when David said that in his presentation. He actually asked, is there anybody in the room that doesn't have two people that doesn't like them? So I thought that was funny. It was pretty well put together. But you need to understand how the money is made and how they can make it free for them. Again, that's value. Okay. How the comp plan works. You want to understand the comp plan. Eventually, you want to talk about more in depth about the comp plan, but you want to at least say, if you decide to build, then you become an IBO, then we can explain to you how you can make residual money moving forward from anybody that your people bring on board, aside from the people that you bring on board. So you want to talk about that. Again, you don't need to go into in depth, but you want to mention it. You want to, at that point, you're transitioning. Again, so the steps is who we are, what is the problem, what is the solution, and then you're going to overcome objections, and you're going to transition or close. Now, when it comes to the close, you need to then talk about going back to the quadrant. Okay. Now, from the quadrant, you want to talk about the difference between a goal and a job. They talked about that in some of the presentations. How when you have a job, and I know that. What is it? That Christian says about a job? JOB. Something broke. What is it? I forgot. But anyways, either way. But understand that and what a goal is. It gives you, makes you understand how your money is going to be made. People that start and understand how money makes money for them, how that money can work for them, they can put goals together. Maybe they can be aggressive or not. Some people will start this as a part-time. They have careers like me. And we are, you want to then at that point start talking about MLM or IML as the only company, that has a product that services everybody, that is not something that's consumed. It's not some magical pill or magic potion or energy drink or something like that. This is a product that's a service that's going to be used from now on, and is recession proof. You need to explain that. You need to then explain to them how what's on the close side is asking themselves what they would do with an opportunity like this one. Where would they see themselves? Do they understand how, if you were thorough and if you were good and concise in your presentation, they should be at a point that they're having two conversations with themselves: the conversation that you had with them and the conversation that they're having inside of their heads. And their conversation inside of the head is how can I get out of this, or what can I do with this? Are going to be the conversations that are going to be had. Is they should be thinking, what can I do with this? What's in it for me? What am I going to get out of this? And then start planning how they will incorporate this into their lives. And that's when the next module is going to be coming into play, which is going to be overcoming objection. Because you're not going to have people, oh yeah, take my money right away. They're going to have objections. They're going to go back to you with objections. And you should expect them, by the way. A lot of people, for some darn reason, they get frustrated when people start asking them questions, and you shouldn't. If after your presentation people ask you questions or they give you objections, it's a good thing. It means that they have thought through stuff what you have just told them, and they were trying to incorporate it into their lives, and they see an obstacle which you're going to have to help them get over. If your presentation was clear, concise, to the point, and you kept it simple in a way that you can, that they feel happy, or at least it makes sense to them, you should be at that point then overcoming objections. I mean, they're not going to just bust out their wallet and do it and go, hey, let's go, let's put the money down. That you're going to have laydowns like those, but those are great, those are awesome. But you're also going to have people that are going to give you objections, and objections are good. Objections are healthy. They're healthy for business. They're important for your business. They're important for the sale. They're important for the process. And you should welcome objections. You want people to have them because they tell you. Now, I'm assuming, I don't know if people are putting questions on this thing or not, but let me see if they are or not. No, just over broke. That is the job. Got it. Now, and when it comes to this, let me see if there's any questions so far. Now, guys or team, sorry, there's ladies in the room, but when it comes to presenting, this is where the meat of your business is going to be. This is where you want to learn how to get in front of a group, get in front of a few people. You're going to do it with one person. You should have something already prepared, maybe on an iPad or something that you can just go through and present, something professional. You want to have slides. You want to have something that they can look at and that you can then talk to and point at, because most of us learn in a visual way. So you want to have something, maybe draw on something on a napkin or whatever. But when you're presenting, make sure that it is clear. So understand the steps. And let me repeat the steps. You first need to know who you are. So they need to know who you are, your story, where it came from, where you came from. You need to state the problem. And the problem is a bunch of different problems. Whatever the problem is going to adapt to the person. We have all this money and banks are making money with our money. We are working. We're addicted to our jobs. We just work our jobs and we don't have careers. We're planning for retirement and we're not there. So all these things you want to state as the problem. And it can be multiple problems. And then you want to state the solution. And the solution is IML. And you want to know the story behind IML. You want to state it in a concise, clear way. You want to state the value through the products given in the solution. So what IML offers. So what is the offering? What are you bringing to the table? That's what's going to build the value that when we drop the money, it's going to be valuable. Because if I'm going to be spending 150 to 200 bucks a month, I need to build value. It needs to make money for me. So where is it? Where's the value that I'm going to get out of this? And then you're going to close. So you're going to, and on the close is asking the right questions. If your presentation should have brought those things up in order for you to then close. Ask for the sale. And if you notice at the end, I said go back to the person that introduced you to this, because that's you might be presenting to the to the people you are bringing, or you're presenting for a group and you want to then send them to whoever sent them to you. So at that point, you're going to be closing and you're going to be overcoming objections. Next week, we're going to talk about overcoming objections. I want to mention a few, and I want you to correct me if I am wrong. And I'm assuming there's going to be more objections. So if they are more objections, and usually there's 6 objections in a business that are the key objections, and you get used to overcoming them. But the process of overcoming an objection is always the same, and we're going to talk about that process, how it's done, and how do you overcome an objection. But the objections that I've come across have been, I don't have the time, I don't have the money, I don't like MLMs, I lost money in the market and I don't want to do it anymore, it's a scam, and I have had a bad experience in a prior MLM. If there are any more objections that you guys have gone or have come across, please send them to me and put them in the chat, or you can text them to me, or I put my number in there yesterday or last time. If not, I can put it in the chat again, and you can text them to me, or you can send it to me on Instagram, whatever. But we'll go over the main objections next week, but we're going to go over how to overcome an objection next week, like the steps on how to overcome an objection. So let me here in the chat room, I'll put my number, and then also my what is my and then I'll put here so you can look me up in Instagram if you like. So are there any questions, or is there anything else that you want me to go over, Mr. Chris?
Mr. Rico, I appreciate you again. Fire training like always. And remember, guys, go back and watch those and study what he was talking about. Don't just take notes and then go back to doing the same thing. Start implementing. You get every single person on here. You guys have to get really good at presenting, because that's part of your business. If you want to become a chairman, you have to act like the chairman already. You have to take the initiative. You already have to start educating your people on how to do the same thing. It's monkey see, monkey do. So if you guys do it, then your team is going to do it, and that's how you replicate. That's how you grow a business, particularly in network marketing. The presentation is by far the most important segment in any sales organization at all, because if you're not a good presenter, unless you're somebody with super high energy, which not everybody has, it's going to be harder for you to make the sale. There's some people who are just those very high energy, energetic type of people that will sell, and they won't even know what they're talking about half the time. But if you're not one of those, you have to get really, 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 really good at presenting, regardless where you come from. If you're shy, if you're new to this, that's okay. I used to be the shyest kid in class. I didn't talk to save my life. I just was the person that didn't know what to say ever. And I started to work on that. I started to change. I started to become better. I started watching movies. I started learning. I started reading. I started just getting myself out there. And little by little, it just became natural to me. So anybody can pick up any talent. Anybody can pick up any skill and master it if you just beat on your craft. If you go to work, remember, in this business, if you're not in front of a prospect, you're technically unemployed. You're not working. Nobody's paying you here an hour. So you have to be in front of prospects pitching. You know, you have to be in front of prospects closing. You have to be in front of prospects just building relationships. And all of those things are a combined series of events that get you to conversions, which get you paid. Conversions is what pays you, nothing else. Everything else is just a part of the process. Conversions, sales, closing is the only thing that gets you paid. So in order to get those closes, you have to go through all the proper steps. And looking forward to next week for overcoming objections, because that's pretty much one of the last steps before you ask for the money. So, you know, get ready, guys, because I want to train you guys all to be beasts. I want you guys to also role play with each other. Find an accountability partner, somebody that you're close to, somebody that you're not. It doesn't matter. Get out of your comfort zone. Start presenting in front of them, because that will help you a lot. You'll realize how much you suck. I did this. You'll realize, oh man, you know, and like when I'm put out there in like the spotlight, like I kind of don't know what to say. Well, make sure that whenever you do, you have this memorized so that at any point in time they could hand you the mic. Like in the convention in Miami, I got handed the mic a couple times. Nobody told me beforehand you're gonna speak. They're just like, hey, here, you know, open up for this person. I was like, all right, bet. Like, throw me in there. Like, I'm ready. You have to be ready all the time. And it's like studying the first two steps along with this one is going to help you guys a lot more to gauge people's interest and be able to, like, just sound professional. A lot of the times you'll close just because you guys are super young. And if y'all sounded like David and Miitie, Rico, correct me if I'm wrong. If one of these 17-year-olds approached you and talked to you and gave you the same presentation the same way as David and Miitie gave his, like how adamant would you be to buy just because of their age?
It'd be difficult a little bit, maybe, depending on the crowd, but energy-wise is the key. I mean, if you have it down and if you present it and deliver it the same way, the credibility is going to be there with you. The credibility will follow. So as long as you have it, because if you watch the David and Miitie's presentation, is key in how confident he is, because that's the key. That's the biggest key there is. That presentation was just confident, and it was delivered in a confident way. So if you can, I mean, when I first started, a few weeks ago, and Chris told me about that one. I've watched that video probably the last week, probably 6 times, 6 times. There is a lot of intricacies to that delivery. If you can mimic it, like exact, like he said, like he's doing it, you would be closing everybody. So, but it is all in the delivery. The delivery is so key, because you'll come across as a professional. You'll come across confident, like you know what the heck you're talking about. So, you know, age at that point wouldn't matter. It just the confidence in the product and confidence in the delivery is the key. So really, I don't think for this business age matters that much, because it's such a product-based system and product-based or service-based industry, or what we're pitching, that the age wouldn't matter really. But guys, you, like Chris said, you need to learn to mimic. You need to learn to do what other people are doing, and then you're gonna add your flavor. But if you can do that one, I would say watch that video a few times and then understand that you have to follow the steps, and you'll be just fine.
And is there any homework for next week?
Homework for next week. I want to know if there, and I said it at the end, it's any other objections that you guys are coming across. I mean, I said them. I said give you a list, but send me the objections that you guys are coming across the most. Text them to me, or send it to me on Instagram. You can do that too. But really, what I see in a business like this one is going to be pretty much the same ones. But I want to know objections. So that's what I need to know, so I can then go over the objections with you. But by now, and the other one would be, you need to sit down and put together a presentation for yourself. put together a presentation on a PowerPoint or any some type of presentation that you can use. There is a lot, guys. There is a lot of content out there for you. The one I just did, it was just a bunch of screenshots from the presentations I was watching, and then put together a presentation and follow the steps. Your presentation should be roughly about half hour, 40 minutes each or so. So, and understand that the meat of your presentation is going to be the problem and the solution. Who you are and what the history is usually about a minute or about 2 minutes. And then after that, the problem and solution is the meat of your presentation. So, so send me any objections you guys are coming across, the ones that you're coming across the most. I mentioned a few, and work on your presentation for next week, and share that with somebody. Share your presentation with your mentor, with whoever brought you on board, whoever your accountability buddy. You want to do those too. So practice, practice, practice.
Awesome, guys. I hope everybody got a lot of value from that. And watch this video after we get the recording as well. Rewatch these. Like, if you took notes, that's amazing. Make sure that you actually implement what you learned today, because it's not hard stuff. We're just teaching you the blueprint on what to follow, but you can't help somebody that's not willing to help themselves. Make sure that your teachability index is always a 10. You're willing to learn and you're willing to put in the action, because if nothing changes, nothing changes. So everybody, I hope you guys are benefiting from these different modules that we're doing for y'all. We're going to put together something great for next weekend, and I will see all of you guys there. We'll have this recording up. I appreciate y'all's time. I appreciate you, Mr. Rico. Till next week. You guys have an amazing, amazing weekend, and I hope everybody catches Pibbs this week as well.
Have a blessed day.